Guys, welcome to Inclement's Guide for Offensive Play in Rift. Today, I'll show you the best ways to ignite your enemy's rifts. First, let's start with Bountiful, one of my new favorite maps. Let's look at Alpha side first. There are three possible paths to run the Spark. Left side, center, and right bottom side. First, we are going to look at the right bottom side, my favorite route. For this map, opponents don't expect you to come from that side, and your team can easily push with you. Now, let's look at middle way now. This one is shorter than the previous one, however, enemies do expect you coming from that side, so it can get a little bit chaotic. But if your team has enough push potential, it's an easy route as well. Lastly, let's look at left side or open side. This side is the hardest to score on due to enemies spawning in front of you as well as being out in the open, as you can see. Right here I get killed because I was in the open and there wasn't a lot of things to cover. Now, let's look at Bravo side. This is a symmetrical map, so showing you all the routes would be redundant, so I'm just going to demonstrate you that the bottom route is viable as well on this side of the map. As you can see, a really easy and fast ignite. So for Bannerful, I would recommend you this route. Right, moving on to Black Shield. This map might look symmetrical at first, but it isn't. We're gonna start at Alpha side. Just like in the previous map, there are three possible routes, so let's start with the right side path now. As long as your teammates are pushing middle, this should be an easy score. So just make sure your team's with you and you will be able to score easily. Now let's move on to a left side route. This route is the most dangerous, as enemies can spawn inside the building if your team has pushed far enough. Nevertheless, if your team pushes at the same rate as you, this can be a good route. Let's move on to the middle path, my favorite for Alpha side. This path has good cover and it allows you to push with your team, so I would highly recommend you using this one constantly. As you can see, it's an easy score as long as you push with your teammates. Now it's time for Bravo side. We're going to be looking at the left side as well as center side, but we aren't including the right side as it's just a mirror to the one of Alpha. I got to admit it is harder to score on this side of the map due to how enemies spawn. This left side route is probably my go-to path as it has good cover and your team can push with you. Now, for the middle route, it's harder as enemies can spawn in front of you and easily kill you, as there isn't a lot of cover. But as long as your teammates are with you, it should be a viable route as well. Alright, let's move on to Frontier. This map is also one of my favorite maps. We're going to start off on the Alpha side, just like in most of the maps. There are three possible paths. Let's look at the left side path now. This route is a decent one as it has decent cover and your teammates can clean your path quickly, as you can observe. However, let's look at the right side way, my favorite for Alpha side. Opponents don't expect you to go all the way around the map, so as long as your teammates create constant pressure, it should be an easy score. As you can see, I go all the way around the map into the rift. Now, for the middle route, this one is the fastest but the most dangerous one, so you should only use it while crushing your enemies. As you can see, it's a fast way but a dangerous one if there's opponents waiting for you. Moving on into Bravo side. Both right side and left side have terrible spawns, so you should avoid them. But let's look at the center route. It has a great cover and you can glide on top of the boxes into an easy dunk, so you should always use this one. It's time to talk about Memento now, guys. As you can observe, there are only two possible routes if you're attacking from Alpha side. You should avoid the right side as enemies can spawn in front of you, and you should always push with your teammates from the left side. So while we wait for me to dunk, I want to go over some tips I have for you. You should always try to aim to have a weapon with increased agility in order to get to the rift faster, just like the Backsmithoclast or the Mida Multitool, as well as a build with high agility. However, don't forget about armor, as it is important too. Also, if you want to use Blink, it is a viable jump as it can distract enemies while you are jumping into the rift. Let's get going with Bravo side. There are 3 possible routes on this side of the map. Let's look at the first one, the middle path. This route is optimal as it has great cover. No enemies spawn near you and your team can push outside for you. Now, the right side path. This path is more dangerous than the previous one. However, as long as you have your teammates pushing with you, it should be no problem. As you can see right now, I'm getting cover while my teammates push, getting my shields back. As long as I have my shields back, I start moving on, and the path is clear for me to score. Finally, the left side route. This route is the most dangerous one and should be avoided at all times, but if all other routes are blocked, it can still be a useful route. As you can see, I kill my enemies, make the jumps, and get into the rift. Alright guys, just to wrap it all, I'll be showing you some aerial poorly drawn images of the maps. Green arrows are their optimal routes for the runner, orange arrows are where your teammate should push from, the gray dot is the spark, and the yellow dots the rifts. Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you like the video. That will tell me if you want to see more of this type of videos. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks a lot guys. I'll catch you later.